Before colonial maps carved Africa into pieces, before foreign empires drew borders with ink and arrogance, there were nations. There were systems. There were empires. And in the dense forests of Ghana, one of the most powerful of them all rose not quietly, but deliberately. Not borrowed, not copied, but built by its own people. This was the Ashanti Empire, a civilization forged in unity, strengthened by gold, tested by war, and remembered because it refused to disappear. Chapter 1. The Sacred Beginning, A Nation is Born. Visual. Firelight illuminating elders gathered in council. Narrator. Every empire begins with a decision. For the Ashanti, that decision was unity. In the late 17th century, a leader emerged, Osei Tutu. He was not just a king, he was a unifier. Alongside him stood a spiritual force, Okomfo Anoke. Together they did something revolutionary. They united independent Akan states into one political body. But unity needed something stronger than agreements. It needed belief. And so, legend tells us, the sky answered. From the heavens descended the golden stool, not meant to be sat upon, not owned by any king. It represented the soul of the Ashanti people. Narrator. From that moment forward, loyalty was not just to a ruler, but to a shared identity. At the center of the empire stood Kumasi. More than a capital, it was a command center. Here, laws were made, alliances were forged, armies were organized. Kumasi became one of the most influential cities in West Africa. Travelers described grand courtyards, structured governance, a society built on discipline and hierarchy. This was not a loose collection of tribes. This was a state centralized, strategic, and powerful. The Ashanti did not stumble upon wealth, they mastered it. Gold was everywhere. In rivers, in the earth, in the artistry of their people. It was used for currency, diplomacy, symbolism of authority, but gold alone does not create greatness. It must be managed. The Ashanti built trade networks stretching across West Africa, relationships with coastal traders, economic systems that balanced power and wealth. Their prosperity was not accidental, it was engineered. If gold was the heart of the empire, then the army was its shield. The Ashanti military was one of the most advanced in Africa at the time. It was organized into divisions: front guards, main forces, flanking units, rear guards. They used firearms obtained through trade, coordinated battlefield tactics, complex communication systems. This was not chaos. This was calculated warfare. And when the time came, they would need every ounce of it. On the coastline, a new force was growing: the British Empire. At first, they came as traders. Gold, ivory, human lives. But trade has a way of turning into control, and control into conflict. The Ashanti expanded inland. The British tightened their grip on the coast. Between them stood tension waiting to ignite. In 1824, war began. The Ashanti faced a global superpower, and they did not retreat. In early battles, Ashanti forces shocked the British, defeating them in ways few believed possible. But this was not a single war. It was a series of conflicts spanning decades. The Anglo-Ashanti Wars, 1824. Ashanti victory, 1831. Uneasy peace, 1874. British retaliation, Kumasi burned, late 1800s. Continuous warfare. Each war tested the empire. Each battle demanded sacrifice. And still, the Ashanti resisted. In 1874, British forces marched into Kumasi. What followed was devastation. Buildings burned, structures destroyed. A message was sent: submit or be erased. But the Ashanti did neither. They rebuilt, because resilience was not a choice. It was who they were. As the 19th century drew to a close, leadership became more critical than ever. Kings like Osei Bonsu strengthened earlier power. Prempeh I faced colonial expansion head-on. Prempeh I refused submission. For that, he was exiled. The empire was weakening, but it was not broken. In 1900, the British made a demand that crossed a line. They wanted the golden stool, not just an object, but the soul of a nation. And when hesitation filled the room, one voice rose above all. Ya Asante wa. Her words ignited a movement. If you men will not fight, we will. She led the War of the Golden Stool, a final stand, a declaration that identity cannot be negotiated. Despite extraordinary resistance, the outcome was inevitable. By 1900, British forces subdued the uprising. By 1902, the Ashanti Empire was formally annexed. The empire had fallen, but something remained, something the British could never conquer. Culture, identity, spirit. The Ashanti people endured. Their traditions survived. Festivals, leadership structures, artistic excellence. The Golden Stool was never captured, never surrendered. The Ashanti Empire is not just history, it is a lesson. That power is not defined by conquest, but by resilience. That identity is not erased by defeat, but strengthened by struggle. And that unity, true unity, can outlive empires. They lost their empire, but they never lost themselves. And in the end, that is the greatest victory of all.